This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero. Is it in you?
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
Welcome to the W, where elite athletes are redefining the game of basketball. From buzzer-beating shots, jaw-dropping defense, and logo threes, the WNBA delivers nonstop action and world-class talent every game. These athletes don't just play the game, they elevate it. The biggest stars, the brightest stage. AT&T WNBA All-Star 2025 comes to Indianapolis July 18th through 19th. Tune into the game July 19th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC.
The Fan.
If you want to chime in what's happening to your favorite KFAN shows, you can make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. So let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That is 64686. Standard text message and data rate supply.
Welcome back to campus. Guardsy and Grimm in for Paul Allen today, doing 9 to noon from Gopher Football Media Day. We just had new quarterback Drake Lindsey on, and I believe he said he believes the safety group among the best in the country.
Yeah, I think he said the best.
The best in the country. Am I selling him short? Yeah, he mentioned Coy Parrish, he mentioned Aiden Gooseby, and he mentioned our next guest, Kerry Brown. Great to see you, Kerry. We met, I think, after the Nevada game, and you had a couple of picks there last season.
Yes, we
Big
did.
Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Thanks for taking the time today.
Yes, of course. Anytime. It's great to, meet you guys.
So it seems like we've got, couple weeks before fall camp starts, and I talked to Darius Taylor earlier, does it feel like it's time to go? That you've done all the off-season stuff, it's time now to get into everything?
Yeah, it's time to go. We all been ready, we've been working hard during the off-season, during, winter workouts, spring ball, and, summer workouts, we're just all ready to go, play on the field.
A guy you know well has a bigger role on the coaching staff now, in Danny Collins, safeties coach, now the defensive coordinator. So what's it been like to, first of all, just work with him in your few years here, but now see him really in charge of the whole operation on that side?
I mean, it's been amazing, just seeing him grow as, as a coach for us, him being able to, keep on, taking the step for us, just becoming, the best safeties, we can be.
We don't have the live webcam here, Guardsy. Maybe next year we can involve that. But full uniform here for Kerry
media
Brown.
day.
Yeah, shoulder pads. This is great. For people that have been listening for a while, there's guys will be screaming down the hallway because they're doing a lot of the jumbotron stuff, and then team photos with the full shoulder pads and such. Your season last year as a redshirt freshman. I'm not going to say you came out of nowhere, but I don't think that the average fan was probably expecting Kerry Brown to put the level of production that you did. What was that like for you to go out? I'm sure you were wanting to prove all those people who thought, what's going to happen at safety? There's no Tyler Nubin, Antoine Winfield's days were years ago. What's going to happen? And then you and Parrish, and as you mentioned, Gooseby and others. Jack Henderson, I think, was technically part of that safety group, maybe. Put on one of the best years in the history of the school. What was that like going through that?
I mean, it was amazing, just being able to, just watch Tyler Nubin, just play out there, then me being able to have a chance to go play, get my name out there, just doing incredible things for this team, it was great.
Guardsy mentioned that Nevada game. How much of a confidence boost was that? Look, a redshirt freshman getting Big Ten play, or it wasn't Big Ten yet, but on a Big Ten team, how much uncertainty was there? I mean, were you even like, geez, how good can I be? And then you get a couple of picks, and it was like, straight linear progression for you.
Yeah, I was confident in myself. Every game I play, I just make sure, I just go out there and be the best I can be.
All right, so tell us a little bit about growing up in Florida. We're here. Hockey's a big thing in Minnesota. I don't know if you know that, but football appears to be king in Florida. A lot of good players coming out there. Naples, right,
yes,
is
sir.
where you grew up. So take us through, is football something you remember from the jump? Is it something that you came to later? Kind of take us through your football life down there.
Yeah, football has been my whole life. So many people don't know this. I have, 10 siblings. I have 6 brothers and 3 sisters, so all my brothers, play football. So, we're running a football family, we just love, playing football, all of us, came together, watching, football on TVs, going to the games, it was really fun too.
High school games, college games, who did you watch?
For college and NFL, we used to go to, Miami Hurricanes, Dolphins, Tampa Bay.
You hit the whole state.
Whole state.
Where are you in the sibling pecking order? Is that what you're going to ask,
That was my question,
yeah.
I'm the second to last.
Second to last.
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm the ninth.
So some things were established in the family by the time you got there. So what's it like almost being the caboose of the train there? A lot of hand-me-downs, I would imagine. So you're getting some, which is a good thing, I think, having 2 boys. It's nice to just ship it right down to the younger one. What's it like being second to last? That's you got to be a fighter.
I mean, it was great, People say I was, spoiled, but I don't think so. But, it was great, them, teaching me everything, that I know now.
What was it as a young kid? I mean, 9 kids, that's going to be a pretty good age advantage, or separation. So your oldest brothers, when they're playing football, are you in grade school or even younger?
Yes.
And then how did that help kind of shape maybe your interest in the game? And I don't know if they picked on you or made sure that you were tough. I mean, did it toughen you up too?
Yeah, it definitely for sure toughened me up because, we used to play outside, play, football outside, play, bust them up, throw them up. They tackle me, if I'll cry, they tell me get back up, and continue playing, so it really helped me a lot, them helping me, become who I am.
So the game's called Bust 'em Up, Throw 'em Up?
Yeah.
Take us
what
through
is
that. I just remember Kill the Carrier was the game we played.
I mean, it was the same thing.
It's the same concept?
Thing. Yes.
We called it something totally different.
Yeah.
You can't say
you can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. No, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, 100%. It's good.
I think it's good we made the
100%.
transition.
We have evolved as a society. But so you got beat up a little bit in that game.
Yeah, but, not to tend to, hurt me, but, just, make me tough. That's all.
I think you and I talked about this last fall. Edgerrin James was one of your Pop Warner coaches. And I imagine, in Florida, we just saw Teddy Bridgewater, actually just got in trouble, which is kind of weird for, helping out his team. But a lot of guys come back and either coach, Pop Warner or they coach high school. But Edgerrin James, obviously a Hall of Famer, pretty big name. What was it like having him be a part of your journey?
It was amazing to have him be a part of my journey, just him, teaching all of us, the ways to, to go in life, outside of football as well, because, not many of us, are able to have that, opportunity. So he just telling us each and every day to, do what you got to do to be, the best you can become.
This is a program that likes to give back in that way as well. How have you taken that from being one of the kids that, a good football player was taking time to help out? How have you kind of shaped that going the other direction here?
Yeah, it's amazing, being able to, give back to my community, being able to, help out, the young kids, to, make them, be able to, continue to, do, great good in the world.
So is this your group about to go through? I mean, is this your next stop? So you're going to be screaming probably?
Yeah.
One more step. All right. We'll let you get to it. I see Coy Parrish over there. I see a lot of others. So thanks for taking the time, Kerry. It's great to see you. We can't wait for the season here in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Gopher safety Kerry Brown joining us here. We've got 1 or 2 more football guests before we're done at noon. Grimmer and I will kick it around, talk some Big Ten stuff when we continue from the U.
Before we go, the fan and BigDeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks for the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is check. Keyword check. KFAN.com. Keyword.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust & Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust & Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust & Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out. But no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
I've got Dan Morgan here on the pod. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dan Morgan. I'm an attorney and a managing partner at Morgan & Morgan, which is America's largest injury law firm.
That's pretty awesome. I think I saw a billboard of yours recently that said 20 billion won. 20 billion is an insane number.
Yeah, 20 billion recovered. It's actually, I think, somewhere north, probably closer to 22, 23 after this year. And each year we get bigger and badder and our Army grows. So the number will hopefully keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Awesome. So how does someone get in contact with Morgan & Morgan? What would I do if I got into an accident?
Probably the easiest way is dialing pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. We are always open. Our call center is always waiting to take your call. 24/7, 365.
Wow. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Check.
Back, roll along, final hour of 9 to noon. Guardsy and Grimm today filling in for Paul Allen. We're broadcasting live from Gopher Football Local Media Day. Big Ten Football Media Days is next week in Vegas. It'll basically be you and me running it back with the head coach, PJ Fleck, next week. Mandalay
DT
Bay
will be there
Vegas
as well. Not on the show, but he'll be taking part.
It'll be good. So
the road trips are always better when DT's around.
It's true. It's true. So we're looking forward. When you think Big Ten, you think Las Vegas, and
100%.
I'm excited to get out there. In this segment here, we've got another guest from the team coming up at the bottom of the hour in our final segment of the show. I want to talk a little bit about maybe I don't know if changing landscape is the right word, but something that I picked up on a year ago is that every game seemed like it came down to the wire a year ago. Maybe more so than in years past. And
you're talking every Gopher game.
Every Gopher game, and just a lot of games in the Big Ten. It just seemed like it was more like the NFL than ever before in that there were a couple of teams at the top, obviously, with Ohio State, the national champion. Oregon was in that mix. Penn State, another playoff team. And then there were a couple of teams at the bottom. If I'm remembering right, it was Northwestern and Purdue. And then there was like 14 of us that were just in the middle. And I feel like an adjustment that needs to be made from everybody that's kind of popping in on college football and really college sports, because it was this way in basketball, I think, as well, is that it's more like the NFL than ever before in the any given Saturday bit. And what the Gophers finish 8-4 a year ago, 7-5, I think.
Yeah.
Then won the bowl game 8-5. That they could have maybe finished 9-3. I also feel like they could have finished 4-8 if a couple of things don't go their way.
If it flips, right?
USC and UCLA, and because the over-under, I
Illinois
think,
too.
is
They're
between
right
6 and 7, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair number, not only for the Gophers, but like a lot of the teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and it's and I also think because of the 9-game schedule, no division, so that there's some randomness to it now. Obviously, you're shooting to be one of the top 2 teams to get into the Big Ten championship game. But I also think we need to adjust. We being just general fans, Gopher fans in particular, as we're talking here in Minneapolis, to like the NFL. Like in the NFL now, 9 and 7's not considered a bad year. Right?
Right.
In the Big Ten now, with 18 teams, and you bring in 4 good new teams, and again, there's this randomness to it. Like a place like, and they're finding out in Wisconsin. Iowa has won 10 a couple of times in the last 5 or 6 years. We'll see where that goes. Nebraska, they've been, to me, and we've talked about this on and off the air. To me, that's who Minnesota should be comparing themselves with. Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska. That's a group, like if you can hang with your peers there, you're going to be in good shape. It's, are you going to be able to hang with Ohio State on a yearly basis? Pretty unlikely. Michigan, pretty unlikely. Doesn't mean you can't beat them every now and then.
Right.
Doesn't mean you can't make a run to a playoff every now and then.
And that's the difference.
10,
yep.
All that stuff. And with a 12, soon-to-be 16-team playoff, Minnesota's never been positioned better to be relevant because there's going to be 9-win teams that make the playoffs out of the Big Ten. There just will. And the SEC, there will. There was discussion last year of in a 12-team playoff, a 9-win SEC team trying to make the playoffs. So the adjustment is 8 and 4. One in the history of, let's say, Gophers, that's a pretty good year. I think we're dangerously falling into this idea here. 8 and 4. Another 8 and 4. What's up? That's a pretty good year in the history of this program. 8 and 4. We shouldn't be scoffing and wondering what's next. Doesn't mean you can't win 10 sometime. Doesn't mean you can't contend. But in today's landscape, that you're a game or 2 off of being in the playoffs now at 8 and 4. So those tight games, 1 field goal goes your way.
Yep.
2 field goals go your way. Even a year ago, a field goal at North Carolina, a field goal at a terrible fumble at Rutgers goes the wrong way.
Right.
All of a sudden you're at you flip. As you said, touchdown at USC, a touchdown at UCLA. Illinois is driving late. The Gophers get a sack fumble. So
that's right.
There is this fine margin. So I think generally the perception has to change with this 8 and 4. Like, if they go 8 and 4 this year, nobody should scoff at it. Nobody.
No, I'm with you.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And people will. But in the landscape, they shouldn't. Would 10 and 2 be better? Of course.
Right.
Would 5 and 7 suck? Yes. But nobody should be scoffing now in this landscape at that kind of a situation.
Well, with the Big Ten the way it is now, and the Gophers, by the way, go to Oregon, go to Ohio State this year. Those are 2 of the road games. We don't need to go through the schedule and do predictions, but I've been saying the last couple of years that 8 and 4, I think, is going to be the old 10, or the new 10 and 2.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The expectation has to be different now.
But I heard this with Ryan Burns on his most recent Gopher Gridiron podcast, which, as you know, is one of my favorite podcasts.
Yes.
Burns, he's in the building next to us talking to all these players with the assembled media on the other side of the campus here. But he framed it this way, and I think this is a legitimate expectation for a program like this, and most of the programs now that are in the rev share that do have the NIL, the power, whether you're SEC, Big Ten, those are the big 2, but if you want to throw the Big 12 in there and maybe the ACC, everybody now that's got this revenue and has the access to players, you should be a 7 and 5, 8 and 4 program. Like, pretty much that's the standard, right? And then once or twice every 8 to 10 years, you do need to be flirting with the playoff. Like, I think that's a reasonable expectation now. Used to be, you got to be competing for your division title, try to get to the Big Ten championship. We know the Gophers were a game short of that a couple of different times, right? That it just drives you crazy that they couldn't figure out that.
They did win the division. They just lost the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I know. We can't do that, though.
I mean, why not? That's every sport.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
You know what I mean. To get to Indy,
100%.
To have that whole deal, now the equivalent should be in that playoff mix once or twice a decade, where if you do go 10 and 2, you're either hosting a playoff game or you're on the road somewhere that first weekend. That's the new carrot, I think. What the Big Ten West used to be, the playoff now can be, because if you did go 2019, that game would have been for a playoff berth. That I do think is. I think that's a very.
They might have been in the playoffs in a 16-team field in 2019. Even with the 2 losses, they're probably in the playoff. Especially the landscape today. There's no Pac-12.
Right.
There's no Pac-12.
Right.
So that frees up. It makes it a bigger and harder Big Ten.
Yep.
But 10-2. There's going to be very few years of 10. In my opinion, very few years a 10-2 team is not going to make it. Now Indiana. Was 11-1 last year, and people wanted to boot them, which was the most ludicrous thing in the history of mankind.
I think we talked about it at the time.
And then they get punked by Notre Dame, but yet that was it the closest or second closest game of all the first round?
It ended up being one of the closer ones. It was the first one.
Tennessee gets blown out. Nobody says squat.
Yep.
And we want a 9-3 Alabama, right? To get in over an 11-1 Indiana. Move along. That's not a discussion. It's an awful, and God love Lane Kiffin, whatever he wants to talk about. 1 game difference maybe. Sorry, Alabama don't. See, he agrees.
He agrees with you.
You want to make the playoff, Alabama? Don't lose to Vandy.
Right.
Right. Don't get boat race. Don't lose to Tennessee. I know Tennessee was a playoff team, but anyway, the point is that. There's going to be very few years, in my opinion, a 10-win Big Ten team will not make a 16-team playoff. It's still a 12-team now. It's going to get to 16. You win 10, you're going to be in the playoff. In 2019, I don't know where the Gophers ended up being ranked, but I think they would have been in the top 16, particularly with no Pac-12, remember.
Right.
There's no Pac-12 now. So that's a whole it's created a whole different look.
But that should be realistic,
yes,
right? That
100%.
should be like people, because people always say, well, what a great gig. You never have to do anything. You can be mediocre. It's like, no, we're not saying that. Like, you should. And frankly, we're 6 years away from 2019. It is probably time.
No doubt.
And we'll see if this is the season or if it's the season after. Now, Drake Lindsey went full uniform now, too. That's good.
Yeah.
They are due, right? And some people say that this would be a good year to do something like that, to make a jump, because the home schedule appears somewhat favorable. We'll see. Who knows what all these teams are going to look like. And after those 2 tough road games, you've obviously got Iowa City in that mix. They're going to be solid. They've got this year's Max Brosmer as a FCS transfer quarterback that's probably going to be their presumptive starter. So it could very well possibly be this year, and you just have to hope the quarterback that just walked by is up for it, and the new defensive coordinator has it, and it's just going to be interesting to watch.
Well, Illinois. At this time last year, people in Illinois were excited about their team, but nobody had them predicted to do what they did. If they beat Minnesota, they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoff,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so they were on the cusp. They were 10-2. So as I just said, I think very few 10-2 teams would miss the playoff. They did, but again, it was a 12-team situation. My premise is when it gets to 16, very few 10-win teams are not going to make it out of the Big Ten. And I don't think a lot of people a year ago at this time had Illinois as a 10-win team. Now they've become everyone's playoff darling out of the Big Ten, and so can Minnesota make that run? And that is that's what you'd like to see. You'd like to see that type of a run to be in contention, as you said, when the cold weather hits in November.
All right, let's do this. We'll pause. We have our final Gopher guest, and it's a guy who's been here forever. He's basically the football version of Parker Fox. His name is Derik LeCaptain. We're going to talk to him about his college experience, how many classes he's taken, all these different things. He's a good dude. And also, he can help with some summer tourism ideas for anybody out here, because he's from a very popular tourist spot in the state of Wisconsin. So we're going to get to all of that in our final segment. Garden Grimm filling in for the Paul Allen.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend, designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out, but no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
I've got Dan Morgan here on the pod. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dan Morgan. I'm an attorney and a managing partner at Morgan & Morgan, which is America's largest injury law firm.
That's pretty awesome. I think I saw a billboard of yours recently that said 20 billion won. 20 billion is an insane number.
Yeah, 20 billion recovered. It's actually, I think, somewhere north, probably closer to 22, 23 after this year. And each year we get bigger and badder and our Army grows. So the number will hopefully keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Awesome. So how does someone get in contact with Morgan & Morgan? What would I do if I got into an accident?
Probably the easiest way is dialing pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. We are always open. Our call center is always waiting to take your call. 24/7, 365.
Wow. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Project after this. Final segment of the 9 to noon program today. Guardsy and Grimm filling in for Paul Allen. We're at Gopher Football Media Day. We've had a cast of thousands, really a full guest list, including Darius Taylor, both basketball coaches, Don Plitzowite, Nico Medved, Drake Lindsay, QB1 joined us a little while ago. And we have a guy, Grimm, you might be familiar with him. His name is Parker Fox.
Yeah.
Parker Fox played basketball for the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. Yeah. He hangs out with us on the Fan once a week. He was in college for like 8 years.
He gets the senior discount at Perkins.
He does. Good line. Have you ever used that before? At Perkins.
About every
real relatable. Day, Well, we've kind of got Parker Fox's understudy here, I think, with us today. And Gopher football player Derik LeCaptain. Derik, great to see you, first of all.
Yeah, great to see you guys. I appreciate you having me on.
What year will this be in college for you?
This will be year number 7. So.
Year 7. Yeah. Okay. So what kind of doctor are you going to be?
Not a doctor, but I'll finish up my master's degree in youth development leadership.
Love it. Okay. So we last talked, I think it was either before the bowl game or before the Wisconsin game. Probably Wisconsin because you're from there. I want to talk about that. But you've seen a lot. Yeah. We just talked about the 2019 team a couple of minutes ago. Drake Lindsay talked about that team kind of inspired him or he noticed Minnesota because of that team. You were part of that team.
Yeah.
So take us through like the last 6 or 7 years, just the things that you've seen and the experiences that you've had here. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's been wild. Everything from, seeing how the program's changed, how Gopher Athletics has evolved over that time, how Dinkytown itself has changed, how NIL has changed. So kind of living through all of that, it's been absolutely crazy. But, at the end of the day, like even with all the change and all the time I've been here, like the one constant has always been like our program and the row the boat culture. Like, so just being in that for as long as I have and having that so ingrained into me and how I go about my life and being able to pass that on to other guys in the program, it's something I'm forever grateful for, and just being able to spend as much time as I have been able to be here, it still has gone by like that.
I bet.
Just really looking forward to this last fall and being able to let it rip one last time.
Yeah, we were talking about how time flies, and we basically lose 2 years through COVID and different things, and I was just talking before we came on the air is you went through that here. You were a college student to me, it seems still like it was 2 or 3 years ago, and it struck me when Drake Lindsay said he was, I forget, what did he say? He was a freshman in high school.
Yeah, or eighth grade
when COVID
like
hit. I'm like, how are you a college student? Oh, yeah, that was 5 years ago or whatever. But the experience, you mentioned Dinkytown, all kinds of different things. That year and a half where every day all of the football, because there was a stretch where I really felt bad for college athletes because you had to get tested every day. You basically shielded yourself, lived by yourself, couldn't see family, couldn't see friends, all to play football. And then if for somehow some guy gets COVID, instead of saying, oh, man, that's too bad, everyone was like, oh, he must have been out partying. Oh, well, he wasn't responsible. Oh, well, where did he go? He must have gone down to Tony's Diner, whatever. And it was just a terrible time for everybody, obviously, and people died, and it was a real thing and all that. But it was just for you guys every day. I can't imagine having to come into this building and you get that Q-tip up your nose and your entire next month. And for some guys that were seniors, the rest of their career was going to be dependent on what that Q-tip color turned, and it was for a whole season. Yeah. We had a game canceled, no fans. And I guess now as I'm talking, it seems like that was 10 years ago, even though it seemed like it was 2. But that's part of your life here as a college student.
Yeah, very much so. Like my first 2 years, like that was a lot of it, like going through COVID and everything. And, I think the thing that was we really pulled from that, though, is like it did allow us to grow so close as a team. I know for me, like, it was huge for me getting to know my teammates and getting to spend time with them because we were really in our own little bubble.
Cocoon, right?
Here, yeah. And also just going through those challenging times together. I really felt like it's one of those things that even though it was a difficult situation to be in, it wasn't easy. Looking back on it now, it made us stronger as a team, made myself stronger as a person. And one of those things that in the moment you're like, why is this happening? Why are we going through this? And then now all these years later, you're like, wow, like that really sharpened us. It got us closer as a team, made us better as people, and we really grew from it. So yeah, just looking back on that, it's definitely a crazy experience, but one of those experiences that you're almost like you're grateful you had it because it taught you so much about yourself and about your teammates.
Well, and that season, 2020 in particular, is one of the reasons why you're still here. I know you had an injury year as well, but you also get the COVID year. So a lot of people, they get to a certain point and they go, all right, I've run my race. I'm ready to go be an adult. I'm going to go out. So why was it important for you to come back for year 7 and do one more ride, like you said?
I mean, the biggest reason is the guys, and this program. Like, I owe so much in my life to this program. This program gave me the opportunity to play Division I football, play in the Big Ten, be a part of a team, meet all my unbelievable teammates. Like, over 7 years, I've just gotten to meet some extraordinary people. So that's the biggest reason, just being able to come back and put it on the line for the guys and for our staff again. And then for me personally, like, there's all I've ever wanted to be is a football player. Like, that's all I've ever wanted to be in my life. That's really one of the only interests I have, and really all my day-to-day decisions are really based around that. So the opportunity to come back for another year and be able to put that jersey on, put that M on the side of my helmet and represent this state, Dinkytown, the university, and represent our team, it's a no-brainer because every time I get to step out there and play in the Big Ten, play for the University of Minnesota, it's the greatest honor ever.
You mentioned the program and what it means and what it stands for. You've been in it a long time, and it is different for people that maybe don't come down here like the standard you guys are kind of held to every single day. How long did that take you to adjust to, going all the way back to 2019? Or when did it feel like, okay, sitting in the first couple rows in class, the collared shirt that you have on right now, the community service, all the expectations, when did that start to feel normal for you, or when did you feel like you were in it?
Yeah, I would say really after those first few weeks here, I think with the newcomers especially, our whole staff, our support staff, they do such a good job immersing everybody in it. And I think a big change I saw was for myself was in 2021. And because when you're a young player, you get here, you got a lot going on. You got tutoring, you got class, you got meetings, you got practice, you got lifts, a lot of stuff. You're living by yourself for the first time. It can be a lot, and it's not that I wouldn't say I was selfish in my actions when I first got here, but I was selfish in my thoughts. I was worried about myself being on time to places, myself understanding the playbook, myself understanding the lifts. And I remember in 2021, it went from me not worrying about myself understanding that, and now it was more worrying about, okay, I'm in my third year now I need to help the younger guys understand this stuff. So that's one thing I think our program really prepares you for, is early on you're learning the culture, you're becoming a part of it, but the older guys are leading you through that. And as you go through that, you then become that older figure and that guy that holds the standard. And now you're no longer worried about yourself knowing it because it's so ingrained of you, you know it like that. And now you pass it on to the younger guys. So that's really how I've seen myself change over time.
As you describe that evolution, you sound a little bit like the head coach, right? Do you think coaching will be in your future? You said football's passion of your life. Is that the direction you want to head?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I want to play football as long as I possibly can. You know, I think that's the dream of every person who steps through these walls and into this program. You know, but at the end of the day, like we all know, one day playing's going to come to an end, right? You can only play for so long, and definitely, like I think for me, you know, just the ability to be around in a football building, be around football players, and be able to. I've seen it firsthand with our coaches how they have shaped us not only as players but as men, and that carries from the football field into life. That's definitely something that I want to do when I'm done playing.
You see a guy like Mariano now on staff here. You were a teammate of his. Yeah. Winston, same thing. Absolutely. And now he's in the NFL. Tanner had a cup of coffee as an analyst, and he's still doing camps. And does that give you some thought that could be a similar path at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, with those guys, like, for me, having played with those guys and then played for them, like, they're all just great examples of how to go. They've taught me how to go about my business as a player, and then eventually when I do become a coach, how to go about my business as a coach. And, you know, all those guys, like, they work, they love football, they love being around the guys. And, yeah, it's definitely shows you that the path will be there.
We're talking with Gopher linebacker Derik LeCaptain. He's coming back for his 7th year of college football this fall. Guards Ian Grimm in for Paul Allen, 9 to noon from campus. I did kind of want to go through, because we mentioned you've had a lot of teammates. Mm-hmm. Like, you're a part of a lot of teams. Like, if there's reunions. But what I think is fascinating is you're a teammate with Antoine Winfield, you're a teammate with Coy Parrish, and Tyler Nubin. Like, three of the best safeties that have ever come here. So I want to do, like, quick twitch on teammates. Antoine Winfield, like, what do you remember about playing with him? Obviously, you just made a bucket load of money in the NFL with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Has won a Super Bowl after a great career here.
Yeah. I think the one thing I remember about Antoine was, like, he was a professional before he was a professional. Like, that guy and like, our lockers were right by each other's in the locker room, you know, and just seeing how he went about, like, his preparation for practice, his preparation for lifts, how he went about his business in the meeting rooms, how he went about his business on the field. Like, when it was football, like, that dude was more locked in than anybody I've ever seen. And there probably were mistakes, but I don't ever remember seeing him make one. And then just watching how, like, his preparation would carry into game day on the field, it was unbelievable. And just the stuff he's been able to do at the next level, like, I know guys who have played with him know it's no surprise at all.
What about Carter Coughlin?
Kind of the same thing. Like, a dude like that. And, you know, when I got here, playing a similar position, he was a R, I was a linebacker. There's a little bit of crossover and stuff. And again, just seeing how he went about his business. And I think with Carter, just understanding how much Minnesota football meant to him and his family, it was definitely shows you, like, okay, like, yeah, this is really important to a lot of people. And that's what kind of stood out for me with him. And just even him in the NFL now, like, you watch how hard he plays. It's something that's really inspiring.
All right, let's bring it to current day. Coy Parrish, you know, seeing what he did a year ago as a freshman, really shouldering, speaking of the Minnesota thing, kind of the burden of an entire state, the dreams of Esco and the entire state of Minnesota, like, to come in and really have a huge impact. And now the expectations put on him for this season and beyond are, you know, probably we haven't seen since a Winfield. So what's it been like watching him go through all of that?
It's been awesome. You know, he got here last summer, and, you know, like, he was a freshman. You know, a lot of guys get here and first time away from home, all that sort of thing. And, you know, was able to have a lot of conversations with Coy, like, building through the summer and training camp, just about, like, what to expect in practice and camp, what everything looks like, you know, and just seeing his confidence build week to week to week to week, to the point where he's out there, you know, just making unbelievable plays every single week. It was really impressive. And I think the thing about Coy is kind of falls into that line of, you know, all our gopher safeties we've had the last few years. And it's just how they prepare, how they go about their business, the fact that they practice just as hard as they play in a game.
Right.
And then like just being around Coy on game day, like his energy is absolutely contagious. Like he's a wild man.
I can vouch for that as a sideline guy.
Yeah.
He comes in hot, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He thinks he should have an interception. He's mad about it.
Yeah.
He's coming over to the sideline. Like it's definitely, there's a vibe there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think too, just the juice he provides to his teammates as well. Like he's fired up when he makes a play, but he's probably more fired up when Kerry makes a play or Aiden makes a play or someone else on the defense makes a play. He's just the ultimate football player, and he's the ultimate teammate. And I love him, and I love playing with him.
One of the things that I've enjoyed over the years in watching this program, as PJ puts it together, are guys that traditionally you don't think of. I'm going to use Dragan as an example. Kickers aren't going to be leaders of teams often, but I pictured him as I was at practice. He had kind of a leading nature to him, and guys followed him, and he had a great nature to him. And then when I think about your career, there's really never been a point, I'm not trying to, that you've been an every down linebacker, right?
Yeah.
But you've been a quad team member. You played running back when you had to. You had a touchdown at Northwestern. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And you were a leader. Like, it's not every program that's going to have a guy that's not an every down linebacker be a 7-year leader, and yet here you are. What kind of part of that part of your career you remember that you just were able to contribute in so many ways?
Yeah, I think that's kind of just like, for me personally, my football career, like my entire life, it's kind of been like, okay, what can I do to help the team? You know what I mean? And just being able to do a lot of different things well, But at the end of the day, like for me, the biggest thing is I just want, whenever I'm called upon, I want to be able to do whatever I can to the best of my ability to help the guys. If whatever the guys and coaches need me to do, like I want to do. If that's going to give us the best chance to win, I'm going to do it. So that's really what I take pride in, is just whatever I'm asked to do it maximum effort, the best of my ability, and have a great time doing it. Because, like I said, and I've said it a few times to you guys, like stepping out on that field on a Saturday, like it's indescribable feeling. And every chance I get to do it, it doesn't matter if it's special teams, if it's offense, if it's defense. Like I want to do it to the best of my ability to give my teammates the best chance to win.
I think it was 21, right? That Mo gets hurt on the opener, and then Trey Potts ends up going down, and and I'm forgetting who else is in that mix. And pretty soon it's it's all right. We're going to move linebacker Derik LeCaptain, who has like 9 million rushing yards as a high schooler in Wisconsin. So what do you remember about the switch, and then the touchdown? I mean, I still remember the touchdown at Northwestern that you scored.
Yeah. It happened as the season went on. We were kind of losing guys, and Coach Fleck and Coach Burns had kind of pulled me aside, and they're like, hey, like we just want you to start learning like the basic stuff, be able, if I need to, go out there and run some plays and pass protect. And we got to Northwestern, and we got to the end of the game, and a few guys had gone down. And I remember Coach Kenny Burns at the time had come up to me, and he's like, hey, like we're gonna have you finish it out, And I was
Bryce Williams, I think, got hurt in that game. Right?
Right on the sideline.
Yeah. So, and again, it's a credit to Preston Jellin. He was there. He was coaching me up. Mo was there. Tanner was there. So I got all these people on the sideline, like taking me through what I need to know. So, and then was fortunate to go out there, get a few carries, and break off a run. But never would have happened without the great leadership and coaching from those guys, and then just to be able to put it all together with the receivers out there, the O-line, everybody who was out there, and be able to have a memorable play for all of us was awesome.
Yeah, and I do want to go back just for a second. Obviously 9 million yards is an exaggeration, but you were pretty touted.
5,199 career rushing yards, 100 career touchdowns, also made 400 career tackles, and 10 picks.
Wow.
Two-time All-State linebacker.
Not bad. Not bad.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, you had a follow-up?
Well, no, I just
you wanted him to rattle off his stats.
No, I was just going to ask him what in terms of that part of it, being versatile. Was because at Gardner, Wisconsin, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was a high? What is that? What's a high school?
Southern Door High School.
Southern Door High School. What did you to get 5,000 yards? Were you a 3 or 4 year starter?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to start 4 years at running back, and then I'd play slot receiver too. And yeah, that was like. High school ball is the best. Like my brother was the quarterback for 2 years,
awesome.
And then my best friend growing up was the quarterback for the next 2 years. And yeah, those days seem like a long time ago, but that was some of the most fun I've ever had playing ball.
Yeah,
for
man,
sure.
That's cool.
Final minute or two of the show. Final minute or two with Derik LeCaptain entering year 7 with Gopher football coming up this fall. You mentioned Southern Door. That's Door County, Grimmer.
Thank you.
A very popular tourist spot. And I think you and I talked about this. How much do the locals hate tourism time? Like right now, like is your family just like shut-ins? Like we're not leaving. Things are crazy.
Yeah. You got to go watch that goat eat the grass.
Oh yeah, up at Al Johnson's.
Yeah. Because obviously, I'm guessing that's a pretty important time for Door County. So you all probably respect it. We call Maynard's the summer at Maynard's out in Minnetonka. That's tourism season for the West Metro. Because in the winter, no one goes to Maynard's except the locals. The summer, everybody goes. But Door County, like that's one of like a top 5 Midwest destinations if you want to take a couple of days. So what's it like living in one of those areas?
Yeah, it's a great spot. I always say like I'm from the part of Door County that people they drive through and they don't think it's Door County. I'm from
Southern Door.
Yeah, I'm from the south. We got farm fields, we got orchards, and that's about it. But no, growing up there, it's unbelievable because kind of like you said. Basically from the middle of fall to through the spring, like there's not a lot going on. It's all the locals and everything, and then late spring, summertime, it goes crazy. So being from the southern part, it's always been cool because I always said to my mom, like we kind of got our little base like away from all the chaos. But like, I mean, 15, 20 minutes up to Sturgeon Bay and then up to the rest of the peninsula, like the whole summer, it's just absolutely packed. And I remember when I was a little kid, we didn't have like the big like 4-lane highway. We just had like a 2-lane road. That's how you got up to Door County, and it would just be absolutely packed. And it's still like that. And growing up there is absolutely awesome. Small knit community. Everybody knows everybody. Like very, very good place to grow up, and really big football community too. Sturgeon Bay High School and Southern Door High School. Both of our schools are 10 minutes from each other, and I think combined have had like 7 or 8 guys play in the NFL. So
wow,
yeah, pretty very. Growing up there, very much like it's a lot of tourism, cherries, and football. Man, that's what's going on. Yeah.
The back to football, just real quickly. You mentioned year 7, and I don't want to shortchange you when I said you weren't an every down linebacker. You've played linebacker. You've had impactful situation. How do you foresee your role now on this team coming up in the fall, and how good can this 2025 team be?
Yeah. I think. Just like I've done for a lot of years now is like lead that special teams unit, and whatever else we need me to do, like be ready to go and be able to do it. And I know in terms of our linebacker room, like it's one of the best rooms I've been a part of. We have a lot of guys who've played a lot of linebacker, who've played a lot of special teams. So having that in our room and the connectivity we have in our room, it's unbelievable. Like. Well, we're brothers in there, and it's really special. It's, again, a group that we've played together with each other for a long time, and there's a lot of trust. We all want to see each other do well, and that's just with our whole team this year, too. Again, like, we have a lot of great pieces coming back. A lot of pieces have been added, and I think the big thing with this team is the connectivity. Being an older guy who's been fortunate to play a lot of ball and everything, be able to share my experience, be able to lead with my voice and with example, and keep connecting this team. It's just grateful to be in this year. Looking forward to it, and just can't wait to let it rip with the guys.
Last thing for you, we had Drake Lindsay on the show earlier. He was obviously seated at the right hand of Max Brosmer a year ago. It sounds like you really soaked up a lot from Max. So what have you seen from him? Really, I mean, he's a young player. I mean, it's a kind of a tricky situation when you think about it to just throw a young player in there. But what have you seen from him in our final minute?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've seen with Drake is like he's grown up a lot in the past year. He was an early enrollee, got here early, and right away when he got here, you're like, yeah, this guy's got something, And then just to see him be with Max every single day in the meeting room, in the position room, in the training room, out on the field together, and kind of seeing how Drake, took this and that from Max, but he's still his own player. Like, he's his own person. He was able to pick up a lot of good stuff from Max, but everyone's unique in how they lead and how they go about it. And just seeing how Drake, like you said, being a redshirt freshman, I feel like he's been here for like 5 years.
Right.
And just his command voice, the way he's able to lead guys and connect guys in all different ways, it's been really impressive, and it's going to be so fun to watch him get after it this year and watch him grow in the years to come.
This was great, Derek. Thanks so much for taking the time. Yeah. Great to see you again, and we'll be watching you this fall.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Grimmer, thanks you, buddy.
Yeah, always fun to see you.
Appreciate you hanging out.
Hey, we're getting close. Football now.
All of it's podcastable on the Paul Allen channel, the iHeartRadio app. Thanks to Brett Blakemore. The Common Man program is next.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
Hey, it's me, your heart. Mind if I pick the next song? Listen, even though we're eating better, people who've had one heart attack are at higher risk of another. But Repatha Evolocumab plus a statin lowers LDL-C, our bad cholesterol, and our heart attack risk. So let's talk to our doctor about Repatha.
Do not take Repatha if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site. View the important safety information in our banner. Listen to your heart. Ask your doctor about Repatha.